ilang doses po ba ang nasa pailalim nasa ilalim itong tatlong kontrata na ating pinirmahan using public funds? Ilang doses na po ito? Let's say in Sinovac, ilan ang pinirmahan nating doses?
Sa Sinovac po, sir, 5.5 million po through DOH fund. Sa through ADB, multilateral, 20.5. And then sa Sputnik po, ang na-sign pa lang po natin is 10 million through DOH fund. And then sa Moderna, we have signed 13 million through World Bank. Yun lang po, Your Honors.
You know, I get a little confused when you say lahat naman ito public funds hindi po ba? Yan ang source ng funding. Kung pag sinabi niyo pong DOH, yan ang ibig sabihin ay internally generated funds, not multilateral. Although the internally generated funds can also be from the borrowings, regular borrowings. So just for the record, you have your presentation says 5.5 million DOH. Actually, Sinovac from Sinovac, 4.5 million. Dahil yung 1 million dito donated. Tama po ba?
Will you repeat the question? You cut off for a while there. Internet signal was bad.
Ilan ang binili natin from Sinovac?
Sa Sinovac, sir, 26 million po, sir. Yes, sir. And then sa
26 million. Ang binili natin,
yes,
26 million. Akala ko 25 million lang tapos may 1 million donation. 26
No, sir,
million ba? I'm sorry?
26
Ilan po ang
million.
binili natin Sinovac?
26.
26.
Yes, sir.
26
million. Yes, sir. Kasi yung nangyari po, sir, yung 4.5, initially we paid it. And then nung medyo na-delay po yung EUL, we requested for the contingency fund of the President in order to have yung steady supply ng June, considering that the EUL of the WHO na-delayed po eh. So ang ginawa po namin, binayaran po namin muna yung 1 million through the OH fund. So that's already 5.5. And then the remaining ADB fund is 20.5. So all in all, this is 26 million already.
All right, 26 million. So
Yes.
26 million doses all procured from binili natin 26 million mula sa Sinovac. Tama po ba yan?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
All right, now. Magkano po ang bili natin sa Sinovac per dose? Yes.
Magkano nga per dose ang bili natin?
More or less 700 pesos po, sir.
700.
How much? How much? How
More
much,
or less
sir?
700.
More or less 700.
Mr. Chairman, with the permission of the Minority Leader,
Go ahead, Senator Lacson.
I heard Secretary Duque when the first delivery of Sinovac was made, no? Parang under 700 sabi niya, parang we're following the price of the other countries, which is 670 pesos. Which is which? Hindi ba definite naman yung presyo nito? It's either 700 or 670 or 683. Bakit merong more or less?
So we cannot say...
Hindi, at saka, Ginoong Pangulo, mayroon na pong kontratang pinirmahan. Kaya siguro mayroong definite, mayroon ng presyo na pwede nating tingnan, hindi lang po more or less. Hindi po ba?
Sir, the public hearing, sir, we cannot displace the price, considering that this is still a part of the NDA. I can disclose that.
Mr. Secretary, kala ko sabi mo, 700 pesos per dose. Ngayon, hindi pwedeng sabihin publicly kung magkano ang ating bili?
Sir, what I have said is more or less, considering that I am under the NDA, that I cannot divulge the exact price. But I can divulge it in a private, in a executive session.
I'm very sorry, Mr. President. Mahirap ko po intindihin yung sinasabi ng ating kalihim dahilan po siya mayroong face mask, and since this is electronically transmitted, I find difficulty trying to understand what the figures are. Maybe the Secretary of Finance has been raising his hand. Baka po siya pwede niya kami mabigyan ng mas accurate information, Mr. Secretary.
All right,
Thank you.
Secretary Duviges, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Senator. First of all, Mr. Senator, I just texted you a chart. Can we put it on the board? That shows how much we have already contracted, okay? How much came as donations, how much were purchased from the GAA, how much were purchased through loans, how much are coming through the private sector, and how much are coming through the LGUs. The total is 184,733,561 doses. Okay, that is contracted. This can cover a population of 95,366,781 people. Okay. The contracted value, obviously in the donated is zero. Okay. So the purchase is there, and from the LGUs is also there. So the contracted value is 73,555,518,120 pesos. Okay. So the total appropriations we have is 88.6 billion. So it is covered. Okay. This amount is covered. So these are the figures. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Senator, we have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, signed with the suppliers. Now, this non-disclosure agreement is not our doing. This is the requirement of the suppliers, and we cannot disclose trade secrets, and including in the trade secrets are the pricing. We cannot disclose that publicly without violating the non-disclosure agreement. So let me just say that the cost of the, okay, if you take the entire cost of the vaccines, okay, the average cost per dose is 398 pesos. Okay, on the average. If you take the average cost removing COVAX and the donations, it is 568 pesos per dose. If you look at the cost, average cost of what the GAA cost is 543 pesos. Okay. Now, the average cost so far per dose of the amounts for that were purchased using the loans is 515 pesos per dose. Okay. So the logistics cost per dose is roughly 48 pesos per dose. And the the logistics cost, yeah, it's around 48 pesos. So these are the numbers that we can disclose, sir.
All right.
All right, I hope that's good enough. It's good enough over here. Go ahead, Senator Leon.
Yes, maraming salamat po. So, at least, doon po sa presentation ng Secretary of Finance, ang average price per dose is 515 pesos on the average. Taking into account both what was in the purchase price and they donated vaccines. Is that
No,
correct,
no,
sir?
no, no. On the average, sir, of all the doses that we have contracted, it is 398 pesos, including
Okay.
including the donated. Now, if you want to
Okay.
know the price of the cost of the average without the donation, excluding the donations, it's 566.
566 without the donation.
Yes, okay. Now,
So in
if
other
you want
words-
to know the price per dose, which we paid for out of the GAA, it is 543 pesos. And if you
Yeah.
want to know the price of what we financed through the loans, is 515 pesos.
Yeah. Okay.
So-
Just for the discussion, let's just take the 568 per dose.
Yes,
Is that-
yes.
Yeah. 500. So that where is the source of the funding to me is another issue at this point, but
Yes.
it's not critical now. Basta
Yeah.
the cost is 568 now.
Yeah.
That is why
66.
Now, sorry.
566.
Then you add another 48 pesos for the
Yes.
logistics.
Okay, I understand that. So
Yeah.
566 plus 48.
So
Is the
roughly
total.
600 pesos, okay? Roughly.
Roughly, okay. Just for discussion, 600 pesos, including logistics. Now,
Yeah, what we paid for, okay?
did I hear you correctly, sir, that that a non-disclosure agreement prevents us from telling the people how much is the cost of the vaccines that we are purchasing from public funds?
At this point in time, sir, we are prevented by the NDA, which is imposed upon us by the suppliers from disclosing the individual prices of the vaccines. Whether it is from public funds or from public funds. That is the,
Funds.
yes, that is the NDA. Okay, now we did not invent this NDA. In fact, they are the ones who imposed. They would not even talk to us if we did not sign the NDA.
Yes, I understand that fully, but from our end, as you are aware, Mr. Secretary, the
Yes.
Constitution requires audit by COA. The Constitution requires transparency.
Yes.
How are we proposing to comply with the constitutional requirement with this NDA or non-disclosure agreements you have signed? What I am saying is, if you will allow me to finish, Mr. Secretary. Yes, I remember that in a previous discussion with here in this committee, we conceded that on the position of Secretary Galvez that the non-disclosure of the terms being discussed would be to the public interest. That's why we did not insist. Although my notes indicate that in January 2021, Secretary Galvez committed that once the agreements were signed, he says, quote, we the exact as we firm up the. I must emphasize that we have already signed agreements. I am talking about the contracts, agreements with Sinovac, with Sputnik, with Moderna, wherein public funds are already committed. I am not talking about Johnson and Johnson, Pfizer, or Novavax. I'm just focusing on these three because these are the actual fact that we face today. I repeat, na sa ating saligang batas po ay kailangan transparency. At sa ating saligang batas, itong mga kontratang ito ay dapat i-audit ng COA. Ngayon,
Yes.
how do you have insisted on the non-disclosure agreement for purpose of this session? I asked the question, paano po i-audit ng COA ito?
Mr. Senator, this is a public forum. We cannot disclose it publicly. Now, if COA wants to audit us, it is open for audit. That's number one. And Mr. Senator, I also personally designed the financing of this involving ADB, involving AIIB, and involving World Bank as a double check. Because they will not pay for that if they see that we are overpaying. Because the banks are a second check for us. You know, I trust my colleagues, but I verify. Okay? And under this system, we will verify from the loans, the amounts we are borrowing, and we are using our banks to verify that. And we are using our banks also to make sure that we are not buying vaccines that are not approved internationally.
Mr. Secretary, I want to make clear, wala po akong sinasabing may nagnakaw. Maliwanag po yan.
No.
Tinatanong ko lang kung magkano ba dahil sa ito'y obligasyon natin bilang mga senador, obligasyon natin kung paano natin ginagastos ang kanilang pera at kaya ito po yung ating tinatanong kung magkano ba ang bili natin nitong mga gamot, mga injection na ito. You are saying that you cannot make a disclosure because of a non-disclosure agreement. So, but you're saying at the same time that you can reveal it, but not reveal it to the Senate and the public. I do not see the validity of that distinction, Mr. Secretary. I'm sorry. Why is COA allowed to know what these costs are, and the senators are not allowed to find out when we speak as representatives of the people?
We can disclose it in an executive session. And perhaps we will even require you to sign an NDA.
No, Mr. Secretary, I am sorry, but I am not, I have to say it, we are not under the executive branch,
No,
we are here exercising our oversight function, not as, not being required to sign an NDA. I believe that we can inquire into the institution. If you wish to do it in executive session, Mr. Secretary, I have no problems with that.
Yes,
I have no problems with that. Because that complies with the disclosure agreement, disclosure and transparency requirements. But I refuse, and I don't think it is proper that you make me sign a non-disclosure agreement, Mr. Secretary. So,
I apologize, Your Honor.
no, it's okay. It's okay. I just want to make things clear. Ngayon, Mr. Senate President, can we schedule this executive agreement at a convenient time for all? Number two, Mr. Secretary, you can tell us with confidence that the prices that we have agreed on is competitive with the other prices that the other countries had to pay for the same brand and for the same kind of vaccine.
I'm sorry, I cannot do that because I do not know what the other countries pay. Because they have their NDA as well, okay? I just know that we have done our best, and from unofficial sources, which I cannot fully rely upon, that we are more or less within the ballpark. And I will also inform you that our financiers, namely the ADB and the World Bank and the AIIB, are also checking that we are not overpaying. But they cannot disclose to us how much they are financing for the other countries. But that is a double check for us. So if they agree to finance us for this particular delivery from this particular supplier, I assume that they are doing also their due diligence and making sure that, I'm sure they will not finance us if it's overpriced.
Yes.
But
We do-
Secretary
we do-
Dominguez, with the permission of the Senator Dilo,
Yes,
uh,
please.
will you confirm the report that I have read, even a few months ago, that there is a country near the Middle East that pays even double so that they can get their vaccines ahead? They pay,
Yes.
they offer double
Yes.
the price to
Yes,
get their
yes.
vaccines ahead. Is that correct?
That is what I understand. In fact, I got an offer from them to sell us from a private company in that country to sell us vaccines at 5 times the price that we were paying for it.
Okay, yeah. I think that country is Israel, Mr. Secretary. It's no secret. It's of public knowledge. And the former Prime Minister made that decision in order to make the vaccines available early enough for him to prevent a long lockdown of his economy. And he made a statement that the risk that I took paid off because we didn't have to have a lockdown for a long period of time, which has destroyed our economy, which is happening to us, unfortunately. So,
Mr. President, with the permission of the minority leader, just very quickly, just one quick question. Can the secretary say the same for the payments made that aren't financed by loans?
I beg your pardon, I didn't understand it.
Because you said because our loans are checked by the ADB, by the AIIB, and EIIB. Can you say the same for the payments made that were not financed by loans? The 8 billion from the GAA, for example.
When I compare the prices, individual prices that we paid through the loans and we paid through the GAA, it is roughly the same.
Thank you. Just wanted that
Yes.
clarified, Mr. President.
Yes.
yeah, okay. Okay,
Continue, Senator Dillon. You have less
yes,
than a minute.
within the limitations on the non-disclosure agreement, can you give us an indication of the price ranges without mentioning the brand? Just let's say brand A, without saying what is brand A, brand B, that we at least we have a working knowledge of magkano ba talaga ang presyo nito. Uulitin ko lang po para po hindi tayo masabit sa NDA o non-disclosure agreement na inyong sinasabi.
Senator,
Kano, pero without saying the brand, without saying the brand.
yes. The price range of these vaccines that we have purchased range from $6.75 per dose to 27.59 cents per dose. That is the price
27?
range. 27.59 $27.59 and $6.75.
Sorry, sir, again. The last two. I didn't-
$6.75 per dose to $27.59 per dose.
Okay. Quite a disparity from
I
six.
don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all, sir.
No, I'm just talking about the figures that you gave.
Yes, why
$6.
you're asking me for the disparity? First of
No,
all,
I said I'm observing that there is a huge, wide disparity.
yes, there is.
And
Times
why is
4.
that?
Why?
Yes, why is that?
I
Why?
don't know the answer because but I can surmise. First of all, this is not a homogeneous product. Okay? These are different vaccines. Number one. Number two, there may be different pricing because of volumes purchased. Third, there may be different pricings because we know that pharma companies, as some pharma companies, price according to what the country to what the country can pay. Okay, even in products that are not vaccines. Like for instance, I give you an example. You can buy some medicines here made in the US cheaper than you can buy it in the US. Some medicines you can buy here more expensive than you can buy in the US. So I am not privy to the reasons for the different pricing, but what I can surmise is that maybe different terms, different volumes, and different products.
Bottom line, as far as the vaccines are concerned, merong vaccine na mahal, merong mura.
Yes, sir.
Ano? To bring it down to the layman's language.
Tama
Ano?
po.
All right.
Tama.
Oo, may vaccine, may mahal, mayroong mura. Natural po yan. At natural po yan. So, tatlong brand lang naman ito, Sinovac, Sputnik, at Moderna. Palagay ko, mahuhulaan ko kung ano ito. Kung alin itong 2759, kung mag-alin. Tatlo lang yan eh. Anyway, Mr. Secretary, I will repeat. If we are asking for this, it's not because we're saying we're just performing our task of informing our people of how their monies are being spent. It is not, there is no implication of overpricing at this stage. We do not know that. But let me assure you, Mr. Secretary, that is not my intention. I am just trying to put on the record for the information of our people the price ranges now.
Now, and Mr. Senator, please, I am one guy who really believes in transparency. And I am disclosing as much as I can given the NDA. And
Yes, I know that.
Yes.
Yeah. In fact, the fact that you said you can make the revelation in an executive session is good enough for me.
Thank you.
Satisfies the requirement of transparency.